Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, February 11th. So today we do have the moon in Gemini, but it will be going void, of course, very early in the morning and will be transiting into Cancer. It will be locking into Cancer energy around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, making for a very, very long day of instability, of confusion, of uncertainty, of doubts, of insecurity. Is it going to be fun? Likely not. Are we going to be exposed to some profound aha moments? Most definitely we are. Is it going to get hella emotional and hella confusing all along the way? You bet it is. Gemini energy rules over the mental plane. Cancer energy rules over our heart space. Our intuition gets loud. We get a little bit nostalgic. We get all up in our feels. And while the moon is void, of course, we do not have stability of any kind. We have 13 different aspects taking place here today. 10 of them involve the moon. The moon is going to make some very harmonious aspects right out of the gate. First of all, with Mercury, the ruler over the Gemini moon, and with Pluto. Pluto is going to be the star of the show here today because Mercury and Pluto are going to be repeating a lot of the topics and themes that we've been exploring over the last couple of months. We'll talk about that just in a second, but here's the thing. The moon in Gemini bumping into Mercury and bumping into Pluto. This is some very profound insights. This is clarity coming in. This is aha moments. This is moments of genius. This is ideas and inspirations that are setting us up to make new plans moving forward. This is very transformative energy in the mental plane, really shifting our focus, really shifting our narrative. It's exactly what we need in order to enter into this next phase of thinking, planning, and strategizing. The moon is going to bump into Chiron in a very harmonious way as well, and the shift in our mental plane is very positive. We are healing parts of our negative narrative that have been blocking us and holding us back from truly going after what it is that we want. The moon, again, in Gemini, always very divided, 1 foot in the earthly realm, 1 foot in the higher realm, and we're very divided between our heart and our head. But bumping into Chiron in this way does suggest that we are bridging the gap between our heart and our head that much more and really making a lot more sense of some of the things that have transpired, healing that narrative, opening up a new narrative, and of course, a huge perspective shift. The moon is going to square Neptune, and this does put us at odds within ourselves. We have the moon in Gemini that likes to rely on our logic, on our practicality, that lower level egoic intellect. And of course, Neptune is in Pisces, trying to get us to lean all the way into our intuition, to trust the greater, grander plan of the universe. This square is a tension point, but it does kind of put us in a situation where there is a huge change. There is a huge action that comes out of this pressurized system. But it is going to lead us to feeling chaotic. It is going to have us feeling a little bit overwhelmed, overstimulated. We're highly sensitive with this Neptune energy. And because the moon in Gemini rules over our emotions and our mental plane, we are going to be hella confused because we're not going to know what part of ourselves to actually lean into and trust the most. The moon is going to trine the sun. This is a beautiful energy because it really does give us a perspective on the here and now. The moon in Gemini is representing our past attachments, our old memories, our old thoughts, our old ideas. The sun in Aquarius is trying to shine a bright light on the future, on what it is that we want to do from here, on where it is that we have to break free from the old attachments in order to create a new futuristic reality for ourselves. This is definitely going to put us in touch with our new desires, with our new passions, and open up a line of clarity that we've been waiting for in order to help us piece together the right kind of strategy, the right kind of plan to disconnect from these old systems, these old topics and themes, and lean a little bit further into what it is that we now desire to pursue. Now, here's where things get interesting. Mercury is going to conjunct Pluto. Okay, so you have Mercury, the ruler of the mental plane. You have Pluto, the great transformer. How does he transform? Well, he puts a certain death and destruction to the old ways of thinking, old ways of feeling, old storylines, old contracts, in order to create a space for us to stand in our power, for us to stand in our authority. So, little fun fact here, okay? Mercury and Pluto have been doing this little dance. They first aligned back in December on the 30th, okay? This was very profound because it highlighted a lot of lies, a lot of betrayal, a lot of secrets. It unearthed a lot of darkness. And of course, we're seeing this on the greater, grander collective, but you're likely seeing this in your own individual life as well. We had the second conjunction between Mercury and Pluto. Of course, Mercury was retrograde at the time on January 28th. This was definitely reopening some of the drama, some of the situations that have taken place that didn't make sense to us, some of the dilemmas, some of the, dramatic situations that we found ourselves in that really didn't make sense. We got a little bit more clarity. We got a little bit more closure with the information that has emerged. Now we are gaining huge understanding, huge clarity by the new valuable information rising to the surface. This is going to be affecting our thoughts, our ideas, our communication styles. We're tunnel visioned. We're more focused. We might even be borderline obsessive with what it is that we're thinking. We are now using the not so good parts of our storyline to motivate us, to push us forward, to inspire us to do what we got to do in order to overcome the obstacles in which we faced. This is going to be a game changer. New truths are being revealed. New truths are being spoken. We are definitely more strategic in our thinking. We are observing details that we might have missed the first time. And we are a little bit cautious of what it is that people are actually telling us. This is a little bit of an underlying suspicion, I guess. We are wondering where it is that people are maybe trying to use us or manipulate us into thinking whatever it is that they want us to think. Now, although this could create some drama and trauma, as long as we're acting as the observer, we're going to be able to see the actual truth emerge, and we're actually going to be able to see other people's motives with a whole hell of a lot more clarity than what it was that we previously understood. But caution, it can unearth some dark thoughts. This is about our mental power and how strong we are to recognize the negative narratives popping up in us. And of course, nip it in the bud and rewrite that narrative into something more powerful, something more strong, something more inspiring. Now, Jupiter is going to bump into Chiron, and this isn't in the most favorable aspect. It means that there's likely going to be a situation that develops in our earthly realms outside of us, likely coming from a personal relationship that's really going to trigger us in a particular way. Now, we have an opportunity for growth. We have an opportunity to heal some very painful aspects, especially when it comes to our belief system. And riding off the coattails, of course, from that Mercury and Plutonian energy, we definitely have a shift taking place in our mental plane, in our perspective, that will eventually change the way that we feel about certain people, about certain situations, and about our path and how it is that we're planning for the future. Now, things are going to get hella crazy, hella chaotic. We don't know what to think. That usually happens when a whole bunch of information comes at us and our inner realms are shook. The moon is going to semi-square Uranian energy, which is hella chaotic in that mental plane. Of course, that Uranian energy connects to the higher realms. And although this Uranian energy does want to inspire us, does want to open up our minds right now, this particular energy is creating more uncertainty, more doubt, more chaos and confusion than what it is that we actually want. Why? Because after this truth has been revealed, we don't know what we want. We don't know what we're supposed to do with it. We don't know what we need from here. We just don't know. We have a lot to process. And then the moon is going to bump into Pluto, which is going to intensify this particular power struggle within, really apply a lot more tension within our physical bodies between our heart and our head. We understand that we are in a situation that is providing us an opportunity to grow, to expand, to really act as the observer and choose a different way of reacting to certain situations. But it's also uncovering the pain that we are trying so hard to be brave about. And of course, Pluto's whole life lesson is to turn that pain into power, to use that darkness as a motivator to turn it into light. This is, again, Pluto's whole MO is to show us the pain, to show us the trauma, to show us the suffering, and hope that we use that as a catalyst to inspire and motivate us to actually do better. The moon is going to bump into Mercury and the true node. And let me tell you, this is going to bring up a lot of past situations. Of course, with new truth and information being emerged, we have to go back and try to make sense of some of the things that have transpired with this new information, with this new perspective. This is likely going to trigger a lot of the things that we thought we had a full understanding about, that we thought we had processed. And of course, the true node is sitting there saying, okay, you have a lot of mental processing to do. You have a lot of emotions to sort through. How does this change your plans moving forward? How does this change your end goal, the dream, the vision that you've been working so hard to pursue? Because trust me, there's still a lot of changes that need to be rewritten and re-edited into our original plans that we came into 2022 with. At this point in time, the moon locks into Cancerian energy, and we do get a little bit weepy, a little bit sad, a little bit nostalgic. We tend to want to retreat. And after the last couple of days with this Gemini moon pushing us to be more social and communicative and curious and really find stimulation outside of ourselves, the moon in Cancer wants us to withdraw from those social situations, move inward to sort through all in which we just had revealed to us and really try to make sense of it by quieting the mind and by getting in touch with our intuition and with our heart space. Now, let me tell you, the very first aspect that the moon in Cancer makes is with Saturn. This is definitely going to put a heaviness on us. Yes, we've had a heaviness and an intensity and intention in our mental planes with all of the activity going on in the cosmos here today. But now we get weighted down. We have a lot to process. We know that we have to heal our mind. We know we have to heal our heart. We know we have to make efforts to get them back on the same page. But we're just kind of dampened. It almost feels like we got the wind knocked out of us, so to speak. And Saturn is going to slow us down and really kind of put the weight of the world on our shoulders, on our heart space, on our head space, in order for us to retract and find a quiet space within so that we can rebuild our understanding, our perspective, our inner truth, and of course, strengthen ourselves through this slight intensity and slight disappointment. We end the day off with Mercury bumping into Chiron. This is a beautiful aspect. It only takes place about an hour after the moon in Cancer bumps into Saturn, which means that we're moving through things at a very accelerated rate. And of course, being in this highly accelerated manifestation portal of the 222 energies, we have to understand that we are processing at a very, very high rate. Why? Because we have a brand new energy and vibration that we have to move into, and the universe is no longer messing around. We got to clear this old carbon-based DNA crap junk out of our systems in order to lighten the load for the new light codes to come in. So Mercury bumping into Chiron, this is a very deep, deep understanding. This is a powerful perspective shift. This is where we've taken all the information, the not so nice information, where we've sorted through, where we recognize these aha moments, these silver linings, this clarity, this insight that we didn't have even just a couple of days ago. And now, even though we've had to kind of suffer some disappointments and blows, we are definitely starting to understand the opportunity that is arising here. This Chiron energy wants to help heal our wounds. Mercury, of course, is our mental plane, and we have a lot of mental processing to do. He is still very much trying to wake up from his retrograde, piecing things together each and every day. And today we have a profound understanding of some of the things that went down, some of the things that transpired, why they needed to happen, and the perspective that we now have to have with the narrative that we have to have in order for us to overcome these challenges and for us to succeed in finding what it is that we need to do from here to create the kind of reality that we know we have to create, because we are absolutely done with some of the topics and themes of the past.